going to take a quick look at simplifying some radical expressions. So the first thing to know about simplifying a radical is what that implies, what it means. And I like to think about simplifying radicals in terms of what I call the simplified radical checklist. And these three things have to be met for a radical expression to be considered simplified. Number one, no perfect square factors under the radical. Number two, no fractions under the radical. And number three, no radicals in the denominator of a fraction. If all those three things are checked, then you have a simplified radical. So let's take a look at one. And if I wanted to simplify the square root of 45, well, don't reach for a calculator to do that. Because if you did square root of 45 on a calculator, what you're going to get is an approximation. That's equal to approximately 6.7, but that's not what we mean by simplifying. It's kind of like if you take the fraction 4 over 14 and did that in the calculator, well, that would be about 0.29. That's an approximation. That would simplify, it would reduce to 2 over 7. So it's kind of the same idea. I don't want to take this and just get a decimal approximation. I want to take this and write it in the simplest form. So because we can't take the square root of 45, maybe we can take the square root of something that goes into 45. So what you need to do is take a look at this number and think of a perfect square that divides that number, that goes into that number evenly. So 9 is a perfect square, and that goes in to 45. So you should rewrite 45 as 9 times 5. What we're going to do now is use an important property that says that if you have a product under a radical, what you can do is split that up as two different radicals being multiplied. So if you have the square root of a times b, you can split that up as square root of a times square root of b. So that's what we're going to do. Square root of 9 times square root of 5. The whole reason we're going to do that is because now we can take a square root of that 9, and when you do, you get 3. And the 5 would not give you a whole number, so you're just going to leave that as 5. So square root of 45 simplifies to 3 radical 5. Take a look at another one real quick. Let's say, the square root of 60. Now if you took that on a calculator, the square root of 60, that would not give you a whole number. So we can take the square root of 60 to get a whole number, but maybe something that goes into 60. So think of your perfect squares that you know, so like 4, 9, 16, 25, all those perfect squares. Find one that goes into 60. Turns out that 4 goes into 60, so split that up as 4 times 15, because that's the same thing as 60, just rewriting it as a product. Then go ahead and split up the square root 4, square root 15. Take the square root of the part that you can. Square root of 4 is 2. And so square root of 60 simplifies to 2 square root of 15.